Dear students, good morning. I welcome you back to this video lessons presentation session. I am Dr. Gopal Sudarshanam. Today, I will teach you types of questionnaires. In our previous lesson, we learned about the conceptual framework of questionnaires. What is the meaning and definition of questionnaire, its purpose, essential features, and the cares to be taken while preparing the questionnaires, etc. things have been learned in detail in our session. Today, we will make more focus on what are the various types of questionnaires used to collect the data in a research work or in the process of preparation of any document, report, or work. As we know, to collect the primary data, we have 5 different methods. One is observation method. Second one is direct personal investigation, indirect personal investigation through correspondence, and last and important one is questionnaires. Based on the researcher's convenience, his ability to face the resources like incurring the cost, time, and other applying the human resources, he can choose an appropriate method of collecting the primary data from the given sources or methods that are showing this slide. But today we discuss about questionnaire as one of the methods of collecting the primary data. Let me once again in a brief or very brief recapitalize the meaning or definition of the questionnaire. Questionnaire is eliciting the feelings, beliefs, experiences, perceptions, and attitudes of the persons and institution is called questionnaire. When a person or an institution or association of persons are working on any study or undertaking any project or preparing any report to collect the one's feelings, beliefs, experiences, and their perception, and also to analyze the same, they can prepare a questionnaire. So that questionnaire is a document of questions. And it was first, as we know, it was first invented by Sir Francis Galton, a British anthropologist and a statistician in 1838. At the time, he was working with the reputed statistical association established at London, that is Statistical Society of London. And again, before we switch over to the types of the questionnaire, one must remember and kept in the mind these following 6 elements of questionnaire. Whenever you prepare a questionnaire to gather, collect the information from the people or institution or from anyone. To prepare a questionnaire or while preparing a questionnaire, these 6 things must be kept in the mind. Number 1 is title. The very first line or very first page of your, there should be a title of your work. This is not title of your questionnaire, title of your task or work you have undertaken. Whether you are preparing a document or report, thesis, project, what you are preparing, that title you have to write. For example, you are preparing a study project. If the study project is like the functioning of RTC during Sundays, then there should be a title. The functioning abilities of Road Transport Corporation of Telangana State during Sundays. That is the title of your questionnaire. Likewise, general introduction you should give. What is the purpose of circulating this questionnaire? How you are going to kept the confidentiality of the respondents' data, and it should also include the request made by you with the respondents to answer the questions very integratedly, honestly, and to the what is that trueness and reality. And if you want to give some more instructions, you may write them as a specific instructions. And then follows the questionnaire item. What are the questions you would like to ask the respondents through a document, through a paper of 1 or 2 pages? You should write them in an order. Then additional information. Additional information may be regarding to a researcher or an interviewer or investigator who is undertaking the task of preparing this document. Finally, you must thank the respondents for spending their most valuable time to fill your questionnaire. So these are the most important elements of questionnaire one must follow and while collecting the data through the questionnaire. Now let us come to the designing of the questionnaire. So far, students, you must have known the questions like your examination questions. Like there are 3 sections of questions. Write one word questions is one session, and in another section they may ask you to write answers to the following questions not exceeding 8 to 12 lines. In the third section they may ask write the answers to the following questions not exceeding 20 lines each. Those are the questions given in a descriptive nature to extract the answers from the students in a descriptive nature. Those kind of questions will come. But when you make a study, when you want to conduct a survey, a research, or you want to prepare a document, a report, or a title, I mean, say, with a good number of pages, then you have to force questions with very short and with giving the multi-choice answers. Multiple choice questions should be included. So the questions those are asked in your examination are different from the questions you ask to collect the information, to mobilize the information from the respondents for your own work. So the picture that you are looking at, the slide can depict the model or design of questionnaires. Then how you can administer the questionnaire to the people? See, whenever you want to collect the data from the people to whom you have identified, either sampling method or any other method of identification of respondents, you should supply, you have to circulate those questionnaires to them. For that again, we have 4 methods. One is personally, you may go directly to the respondent or the interviewees to whom you are going to interview or from whom you are going to collect the data. To them you may give that set of questions document. If they are away to you, they are not near to you, it is a little difficult to meet them personally, then we will post through post office, we will send it in a register post. But when you send the questionnaire to register post, again to get back its response, the reverse receiving cost should also be paid by the researcher itself. Then through phone also you can send the questionnaire by using any ICT method, like you may use WhatsApp, you may use Facebook, or anyway you can send the questions to them. Then through email is one of the best methods of administering the questionnaires. Immediately they can also send the response sheet after filling the questionnaire through as a reply. Now let us look at the slide from where we start our core presentation or core lesson of our today's session. That is, what are the types of questions? How many types of questions are there? Questionnaires are there. In research works, while we conduct the study projects, while we inquire the problem, when you want to investigate an issue and incident, when you want to elicit the data from the respondents, a researcher, investigator, or enumerators, or organizations meant for the research may use any of these questionnaires. So that the questionnaires, as we're looking at this slide, will have 4 types: open-ended questionnaires, closed-ended questionnaires, fixed questionnaires, and factorial questionnaire. What is open-ended questions? The open-ended questionnaire is a questionnaire which is prepared with open-ended questions. The questionnaire prepared with open-ended questions is called open-ended questionnaire. What are the open-ended questions then? The questions that allows the target audience or respondents to voice their feelings and notions freely are called open format questions or open-ended questions. Here, under open-ended questions method, you cannot restrict the respondents to given answers itself. It is open-ended. They can freely answer them. The respondents can make their own feelings, their notions. And the open-ended questions placed at the end of the questionnaire. Generally, these open-ended questions cannot be, in its order, cannot be written in the beginning. Just they will be ended at last, at the end of the questionnaire. Because in generally, the questionnaire should start with multiple choice questions. Answers, either it is 3 scale, 4 scale, 5 scale, 6 scale, they have to be mentioned in the question itself. You are not putting them means it is an open-ended question. So that generally the open-ended questions placed at the end of a questionnaire and tend to draw the accurate feedback and suggestions from respondents as well. In general, open-ended questions can be either 2 or 3. Hardly in a questionnaire of 30 to 40 questions or 20 to 30 questions, this kind of questions, open-ended questions, may be hardly 2 to 3. And more importantly, these 2 or 3 questions can be restricted with collecting the information regarding feedback, suggestions for further improvement of the study, or any other things. This is like a question. For open-ended question, the researcher does not provide any option here. As I said, no multiple choice. And he will not give any options. A kind of descriptive in nature it is. Just look at the slide. What's the question? How can we stop corruption in India? Here, for this question, you are open. The respondent is very much free to write his own feelings, perceptions, observations, ideas, his own suggestions, and he can make use of all his knowledge to write about this question, because you are not restricted. If I give 4 choices: A, appoint the police; B, ACB people should be there in the office; C, they will be tested; D, of the above, then what happens? The respondent should choose any one of them only in that given 4. But for the open-ended questions here, what is happening? He is very much free. He is open to write his own feelings. So that this is the nature of open-ended question. But remember, very frequently these open-ended questions can be added at the end of the questionnaire. At the last, they can write out of 30 questions, like 28th or 29th, 30th question will be like this. And in general, they will be used to collect the suggestions, feedbacks, and improvement areas. Then the another method, the second category of questionnaire is closed-ended questions. Here, the questionnaire which is prepared with the closed-ended questions is called closed-ended questionnaire. Questions which have multiple options instead of open and descriptive. Here, researcher can give multiple options. Either those options may be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Likewise, restrictive options will be there as to answer and allow respondents to select a single option from among them are called closed format or closed-ended question. So, in this closed-ended questionnaire, the questions are prepared with multiple choices. Those multiple choice will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, etc. The respondent has to choose a suitable answer from the given the options only. Though he could find his own option, he has no freedom to do, but he has to choose within the given choices and options only. So that these closed-ended questions, hence why prepared again in different types: leading questions, important questions, Likert questions, dichotomous questions, bipolar questions, scale questions, buying proficiency questions. These are the further 7 types of closed-ended questions. What do you mean by leading question? A question forcing the target audience to opt for a specific kind of answer is called leading question. All answers for a leading questions are almost similar. In this questionnaire, what happens? The questions that are given the questionnaire or leading questions are almost similar. Leading questions are usually prepared to derive audience opinion within a set of limited words. Second one is importance questions. So the second type of closed-ended questions are likewise. What are they? Questions which ask respondents to rate the importance of some specific matter. Here, the researcher want to get the rating from the respondents, so that what he can make, questions will be prepared to specific matter on a rating scale. That rating scale may be 1 to 5 are called important questions. Generally, these important questions will be made with a rating scale. Those rating scale will have 5 options, right? And such questions facilitates drawing what respondents consider significant, enabling vital business decision making. For example, let me show you here. You look at the slide and read it. How do you rate our services? For example, simply, when a person enters into Super Bazaar, after purchasing all his needy grocery, a fellow before bill, he will ask you, sir, make a rating. For that, a question will be displayed there in the machine, that how do you rate our services? Then you can choose any one of them. Extremely helpful, very helpful, somewhat helpful, not very helpful, not at all helpful. From these 5, you have to choose one. This is a rating scale with 5 questions, which is called as importance questions. Then Likert questions. Likert is a behavioral scientist. He has prepared very beautiful scales, 3-point scale, 4-point scales, 5-point scale, 6-point scales, even more of that, to study the perceptions, the behavioral traits of the individuals. He has prepared these questionnaires. These Likert questions are very familiar in social science research, and they made use of these Likert questions. Then what is Likert question? The degree to which respondents agree to a specific statement. So the researcher itself make a statement, and you want to know the degree of acceptance of the respondents of that statement. So that the Likert questions can be called like the degree to which respondents agree to a specific statement can be ascertained using Likert questions. Here, the degree of agreeing the statement, customers' feelings about a topic, a product, or a service, student satisfaction level with the infrastructure facilities of a college, or customers' satisfaction with the banking services of a particular bank, and the satisfaction levels of with the LIC office. Such wise, the level, their feelings, their satisfaction levels can be gauged by asking this kind of questions. Obviously, remember, Likert questions are closely related to extract the level of satisfaction or agreeing the statement regarding to their behavioral aspect. For example, look at this question. How often do you visit the hotel? How often do you visit the hotel? Options are never, rarely, sometimes, often, always. Likewise. Then dichotomous question. Dichotomous question. Dichotomous means only two. Dichotomous means only two. Questions that make respondents' answers with a simple yes or are called dichotomous questions. You all must remember it. Whenever you heard a question with having answered with two options only, whether you are accepting it or rejecting it, saying yes or no. These questions are called dichotomous questions. For example, a bank employee may ask customer when he is in the line, do you want to send this transaction information to your cell phone? Only two options. Say either yes or no. If you say yes, then to your bank account, you can connect your mobile number. Whenever there is a transaction, that can be just forwarded to your cell phone. So that a kind of awareness and education will get. If you don't want to get any kind of disturbance from the bank and don't want to disclose your phone number and connect the mobile service to your bank transaction, then you may say no. So that the question that make the respondent to answer with a either yes or no question. These questions carry one disadvantage. There is no other way of analyzing the answer between yes or no. He has no other third alternative. Simple. A middle perspective is not at all possible, either to accept or to reject, either to say yes or no. Just look at that question. Are you happy with our branches? Are you enjoyed our food? A hotel fellow may ask. Have you enjoyed our food? Are you satisfied with the services of our servants? Are you happy with the price of our products? Just we have only two options, yes or no. Next, bipolar questions. It is very important. Questions that have two answers with a different levels of extremities written at the opposite end of a scale are called bipolar questions. Say taken and the scale will have opposite ends, left side and right side, both side will be there, and one side will be the negative region, another side will be the positive region, and both sides extremism will be there, very happy to low happy, not very happy to not at all happy. Likewise, two extremisms will be taken and they can be written. Respondents have to mark their responses anywhere between these two extremisms, showing their opinion. Look at this slide. Please state your opinions on national health insurance. See, the left side, what he has taken? Interesting, simple, uncaring, useful. Right side he has taken boring, complex, caring, uselessness. Then what happens? Now you have to put it from left side to right side. Very much, somewhat, neither, somewhat, very much. Both sides are there. For example, if you start from left side, interesting. If you fit somewhat the left side, what happens? Second box, you are interesting somewhat. If in the same row from right side, if you start and put the first box tick right, boring, very much, isn't it? Your opinion on national health insurance, you are saying that very boring, then right side first box you will take. You are very much happy, interesting, then left side you put very much first box tick. So this is bipolar questionnaire. Then rating scales. These are very important. As I said, many of the social sciences disciplines, while doing the research work or any kind of projects, minor research project, major research project, student study projects, or preparing any specific works, this kind of rating scales can be used. Questions that ask respondents provide a rating on a specific matter on a scale of 1 to 10 or on a scale of poor to good are called rating scale. So they can make a scale. In that scale, they can divide it the weightages. Those points may be 4-point rating, 5-point rating, 6-point rating, 8-point rating, 10-point rating. That is a quantitative rating. Sometimes qualitative expressions can be used for rating, like poor, good, satisfied, excellent, like that. So these are the rating scale questions. Normally, these questions have an even number of choice, so as to prevent respondents to choose middle way out. Generally, respondents they have a kind of scared, afraid with them. They feel if I questionnaire future, it may create any kind of trouble to him, so that they want to maintain a status quo. They want to be non-risk zone, so that they can make a middle way. So that what happened in rating scale question, middle way will be given when there are odd number questions. But in rating scale questions, very often, most cases, the questions are with even number only. There may be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, like that. For example, for degree students to evaluate their performance under CBCS method, 10-point scale is there, 8-point scale is there. So the scale they can decide. Similar way here also. For example, look at these questions. Say, how do you rate our services? When some of you, after completion of your exam, you have went to a hotel to have your lunch. After having a lunch, you may come with a piece of paper. There a question is written that how do you rate our services? When you entered in, how servants have received, how they have made clean of your table, how they supplied the all other facilities, how they dealt with you. Regarding to that, they want to know their levels of services. If they are poor, they may improve. If they are rich, more enrich themselves. So that what they can do, they can pose a question, how do you rate our services? Then you will be given 4 alternative or options. They are good, fair, poor, very poor. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We can. Then you may say good. Little more happy you are with their services. You can put fair. You are enjoyed their services. You are very happy with their facilities. Then we may say excellent. If it is there, not it is there. But one is if you are not happy at all, very poor. It's okay, manageable. Then you may put poor. Then the next type of closed-ended question is buying proficiency questions. These are aimed at assessing customers' future intentions, determining their proficiency toward buying a specific product or service. When the shop fellow or the business organization, a mall, want to assess customers' future intentions to determine their propensity toward buying a specific product or service available with them, this kind of questionnaire may be used. So the buying propensity questions help marketers to understand the needs of customers and probability of their buying a certain product or a service. Then coming to the mixed questionnaire. Then what is mixed questionnaire? The third method, in a broad category, I said open-ended questions, closed-ended questions, mixed questions, right? And next one is like pictorial questions. Once we have divided the questionnaire into 4 areas. But now the closed-ended questions have been completed. Coming to the mixed questionnaire, the questionnaire which is prepared with both open-ended and closed-ended questions is called mixed questionnaire. Where in fact, many a times the questionnaire is prepared with this kind of. It is very importantly and frequently, with a high degree, used in social science. Not only that, even to conduct the surveys and to elicit the information from effectiveness of a particular government scheme or any research agency, consultancy, conduct the survey, short surveys or long surveys. They made use of this mixed questionnaire only, because through the survey, through this examination and investigation, a researcher or an investigator not only want to know about the respondents' perception, behavior, attitude, and behavioral traits, satisfaction levels, etc. Sometimes, who knows, very constructive, optimistic advices and improvement suggestions and acceptable feedback from respondents also. So that to get such kind of information as a feedback, as suggestion for further improvement, to make more better the work or questionnaire, you need to force open-ended question. So that if you just restrict your questionnaire with the closed-ended only, or you make with a rating scale or a Likert scale or any other of bipolar scale, etc., then simply people, the respondents may tick in a sarcastic manner and they supply the response sheet. But they may feel themselves that if we would have a few questions open, they would have expressed their feelings, their inner ideas openly and freely. So then the reliability will be more of your project if they include open-ended questions. So keeping this importance in the mind, a constructive, a standard, a benchmark question will follow both kinds of questions. So to include these both kind of questions, those are open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. A separate a type of questionnaire is prepared. It is called mixed questionnaire. But remember, if you are preparing questionnaire with as a mixed questionnaire, the open-ended questions can be enclosed or included in order at the end, in order of questions. If there are 20, 30, 15, 8, 10 or whatever the number, these open-ended questions, it is better to kept at the end in its order, in its sequence. It should come at the last. Then it will be good, because even a respondent can have an idea. If a questionnaire is with 20 to 30 questions, and if we start reading from completed 27 questions with all multiple choices, and these multiple choices may be with 2 options like dichotomous, and 3 options, 5 options, 6 options, all just you can read once or twice the question and put the option. By the end of 27 questions or 28 questions, his mind can be tuned, or he can have a cursory idea about what for this questionnaire is prepared, and what will be the purpose of this questionnaire. He can have a concrete idea about it. Then what happens, if there are 2 or 3 open-ended questions, he may write very fruitful feedback, constructive criticism, and amicable suggestions for improvement to make more well and better your questionnaire. So my advice also, you as a student, even if as a graduate, when you prepare your student study projects, when you go to post-graduation level, when you prepare a project for your post-graduation, or if you undertake a research work like for MPhil and PhD, when you prepare a dissertation or thesis, remember that you are supposed to prepare good number of questionnaires. But keep in your mind, if you make use of these mixed questionnaires, there will be more degree and scope for eliciting valuable information. Then the another method is pictorial questionnaire. The pictorial questionnaire is here used very rarely. Means the questionnaire prepared with usage of pictures. It is very rarely used. In fact, this questionnaire is applied, make use to promote interest in answering the question, and used in studies related to the social attitude and the prejudice in the children. In general, the questionnaire is used to extract the information from the children, or if you want to create a kind of social attitude related, and to make the respondent answer with great zeal and interest, this kind of questionnaire is used. Pictorial questionnaire is used. Even sometimes pictorial questionnaire is made use to extract the information, to easily locate the answer also, but it is very rarely used. Then schedules. This is the last method of collecting the information under the questionnaires. In fact, the schedule can be sent through enumerators or interviewers. You cannot set the schedule through post or by email or WhatsApp, etc. Because a schedule will have bunch of papers and so many statements it will be included. Hence why schedules can be sent through enumerators or interviewers. Here questions are asked and filled in by an interviewer in face-to-face situation with another person. Here respondents cannot fill the questionnaire. The questionnaire, which is in the form of schedule, will be filled by the respondent only. For example, the census. Recently, Telangana government has made a survey, family surveys. Simply, the people who have assigned the task, administered the job of collecting the complete family information. It has about 30 to 40 questions of 3 to 4 pages. They have gone to each and every door, home, and they have not simply given the questionnaire to the family head or a member of a family to fill it and give it back. It is not possible. What happens for each family or for each person, whatever it is, if it is an individual, for each person, if it is organization, for each organization, if it is group of people, for that also group of persons can be, names can be written in the given space, and then start collecting the information. But the only importance you must underline is that here respondents do not fill these schedules. Schedule is the subset of questionnaire. Here, every question with suitable answers will be filled in the schedule. Printed in the schedule, not filled. Printed in the or written in the schedule. Now the person may be an enumerator or interviewer. For example, that complete survey done by the Telangana government. The government is investigator. But as government will not go to every home, he has appointed enumerator. He has taken the help of the teachers, lecturers, all other government employees. Those were worked as enumerators, third parties. So they went to the respondents and they can ask to fill it in by an interviewer in face-to-face situation. So the respondents and interviewer will be sit together. The respondents can answer to the questions raised by the interviewers. The questions cannot be beyond the schedule. Whatever questions written in the schedule can only be asked by the interviewer, and the options will also be given there. For example, how many members are in your family? 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 and above. If there are 6 persons, 6 to 8, see, they can put the 6. Out of above number, how many are male? Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that they will ask. Then if it is 2, 2 will be ticked. But beyond that, no question will be asked. If the question which is not printed in a schedule will not be asked by the interviewer or enumerator. Questionnaires are suitable for educated, but schedules are for even uneducated. Yes. See, a kind of the schedule which is similar to the questionnaires. What I want to say, questionnaires can be simply prepared, printed, written, and given to the respondent. He go on himself and fill it and back it. But it is only advisable to educated people. If he is illiterate, If they are children who are not well versed of reading the questionnaire and understanding the same, then you cannot get the expected information through questionnaires from the respondents. Then what to do? You have to prepare schedules, and you should go personally with that schedule and make an interview the person from whom you want to extract the data. Then you fill it in, so that the schedules are more useful to the uneducated people. This is about collecting the data by using the questionnaire and schedule. That is, we reached to the conclusion session of this class. That is, whenever you are preparing a data, I mean, preparing a report, a document, a project, or a dissertation for a specific purpose, the data that you need to prepare the same is very important. Hence why the scholar or the investigator or the researcher, a person who is intended to collect such information, to see that data should be reliable. Reliable data only play very important role in the preparation of any document. Document relating to satisfaction level, document relating to effective functioning of government schemes, policies, and document relating to your own organization's performance and its evaluation. So that when you prepare those kind of documents, see that to make it as more effective, efficient, and to get the attention and attraction of the evaluators, it must be with including espousing with reliable data, and data source and its collection method must be chosen carefully. So as data is playing very important, how to collect that data, and how what method you are applying to collect such kind of data is also important. Certain methods are there, they are very biased, they are not scientific, a kind of irrationality you may encounter with them. But those, if you write your in methodology while preparing this document, have been adopted this methodology, in that methodology you emphasize the data source and collection method, the evaluator may get a bad impression over it, because that method was already neglected method, underscored and unimportant method. It is not underscored as an important one. So that the care must be taken to choose the most reliable and appreciable data source and collection method. And as we discussed in our previous session and in present session, that the questionnaire is one of the best methods of collecting primary data. And which kind of questionnaire is used can be left to the discrimination of the investigator, researcher, making use of his own convenience, his ability in terms of cost, human resource usage of human resources, and the time allowed. He can choose a method. But remember, the questionnaire is the crux of any data collection, an important tool, instrument in any research work. So that to design a product or to prepare any research output, your questionnaire should be very effective. That is very important. Hence, the researcher put forth utmost care to prepare this questionnaire. And as we discussed in our previous session, that is, the cares to be taken and the properties to be followed should also be included carefully while preparing the questionnaire. Hope you have enjoyed this lesson, and you can recapitalize yourself and scroll the video once or twice, and be thorough with the data source and preparation of questionnaire. Thank you.